Yatsuha greets Yuichi with open arms, exclaiming that she has not seen him since yesterday. She gives him a big hug, and he wishes her a good morning, noting that they see each other every day. From the couch, Yuichi's sister Yutako observes them as they peek from a doorway. Yatsuha cheerfully greets Yuichi's mom, but his sister Yutako responds with annoyance, asking if she came again. Yatsuha explains that since they have university entrance exams next year, Yuichi will be teaching her. The mention of entrance exams makes Yutako flinch. She worries that Yuichi going to university means he might leave home, and by extension, leave her. Yutako desperately thinks that she cannot let Yuichi leave, wondering who would be kind to her then. Her thoughts become possessive, feeling she must absolutely keep him with her. Startled by Yatsuha's observation, Yutako quickly runs from the room. Yatsuha holds up a pill, asking Yutako if she dropped her medicine. Yatsuha decides to leave the medicine she found on a nearby shelf. Yutako remembers a younger Yuichi proudly announcing he was going to be a vet. She recalls enthusiastically encouraging him, promising that his mom would be rooting for him. In the present, however, Yutako's thoughts turn to the high cost of vet school tuition. She recalls her decision to start saving money little by little for Yuichi's future. The pill Yatsuha found now sits ominously on the shelf. Yutako remembers that she used to support Yuichi's dreams from the bottom of her heart. Her current feelings, however, seem to have soured as she stares grimly ahead. Yatsuha reflects on her current self, questioning if she is okay with the way she is now. She asks Yuichi if it is fine not to greet his sister. Yuichi explains that his sister stepped out that morning, so she is not home. Yatsuha thinks to herself that things are going smoothly and are fine. She recalls her plans from the previous day working out perfectly. She remembers arranging for Yutako to be at a video game company. She reaffirms her goal to make the entire family happy for Yuichi's sake. She believes Yuichi's mother is slowly returning to her old self and that she is making sure Yutako does not shackle Yuichi. She reflects on guiding Yutako to a suitable job to remove her false sense of happiness and reintegrate her into society. The only remaining issue is the father, for whom she has not yet found an effective way to deal with. Despite the remaining issue, she believes things are moving along smoothly. Yatsuha sits with Yuichi, thinking that at this rate, everything should work out, but she still needs to figure out a certain person's identity. Based on Yuichi's behavior the day before, she suspects he might already have an idea who that person is. She thoughtfully considers how she can find out more. Yuichi thinks about his mother, noting she seems much calmer lately. He is also surprised that his sister, a shut-in, dressed up and left the house that morning. He muses that, strangely enough, his life at school and at home has been getting better. He considers asking Yatsuha about these changes but hesitates, feeling scared. Yatsuha wonders if she can get Yuichi to tell her what he knows. She feels the prolonged silence might be weird. Yuichi also finds the quiet unusual, something he has not experienced in his loops, and feels he needs to speak. He breaks the silence by calling out to Yatsuha. Yuichi asks Yatsuha what she is going to do after graduation, catching her off guard. She admits she has not really thought about it. Then Yatsuha smiles warmly and says she thinks she wants to stay by his side. Yuichi seems moved, realizing she truly feels that way. Yuichi imagines a future where he can leave home for college as things get better. He turns to Yatsuha and suggests that if they lived together, they would be really happy. Yatsuha is stunned into silence by his suggestion. Tears of joy well up in her eyes as she expresses how happy she is. Yuichi, glad to see her reaction, enthusiastically says they should live together and will be absolutely happy. Yatsuha is overjoyed, exclaiming that she cannot believe he was thinking that since he has never said it before. Yatsuha thinks to herself that she has to make this happen. They hug, with Yuichi suggesting they work hard to make their dream come true. Yatsuha agrees, saying that first of all they need to study. Yutako stands alone outside, looking uncertain. A text message appears on her phone, addressing her by name and offering an easier and happier path. The messenger seems to know Yutako finds working painful and offers to come up with a better way for her. The text tells her not to go to her job tomorrow and provides a meeting location. The sender says they have someone they want to introduce to her. A young man with white hair and a face mask approaches Yutako and says it is nice to meet her. He pulls down his mask slightly and addresses her as Yutako-chan. A young man with light hair greets Yutako, who stands nervously before him. He introduces himself as Tuya, expressing his pleasure at finally meeting her. Her heart pounded with excitement when she saw the man's photo, thinking he was incredibly cool. The scene flashes back to Yutako in her room, recalling the message from Clover about an acquaintance who wanted to meet her. As a shut-in, the idea of meeting people was stressful. The mysterious messenger had pointed out his resemblance to a voice actor she admired, noting he even dyed his hair to match. Yutako was instantly smitten, realizing he was completely her type. Back in the present, she shyly tells Tuya that she saw his photo, and he seems delighted to meet her. Tuya smiles, telling Yutako she's super cute and that he fell in love at first sight. Completely flustered, she wonders if it's all a dream that this handsome man is with her. He thanks her for making time for him and suggests they get going. As they start their date, Tuya takes her hand. Yutako gasps in shock. It's the first time a man has ever held her hand. He asks if she's nervous and once again calls her cute, making her heart pound. While sitting at a cafe, she thinks she might like him. After he helps her with a necklace, she realizes with certainty that she does like him. Gazing at the sparkling city skyline, Yutako is overwhelmed with emotion. She can't believe how much she likes him, how nice he is, and that he seems to like her back. She thinks this must be love. Her thoughts are interrupted when Tuya calls her name. Tuya asks Yutako to go out with him with marriage in mind. She enthusiastically agrees. She reflects on how she almost chose to work, but marrying Tuya and leaving home is clearly the happier path. Yutako is overjoyed, thinking that Clover-san has shown her the way to be happy. However, Tuya's expression turns serious. He tells her that, unfortunately, he can't get married right away, leaving her stunned and confused. Tuya reveals the reason: he's in debt. He explains that he became a guarantor for a friend and doesn't feel he can make her happy until it's paid off. The news only strengthens her resolve to leave her home and be with him. Tuya asks her if there's any way she could get 5 million yen. Yutako walks home, wondering how she could possibly acquire such a large sum of money. Her thoughts are interrupted by a notification on her phone. A flashback shows a text conversation where Clover reminds Yutako about a bankbook she found. Clover suggests she steal it. Back in the present, Yutako hesitates, but another message from Clover reassures her that Tuya has a special acquaintance who can withdraw the money. Yutako expresses fear of her mother's anger. Clover dismisses her concerns, telling her it won't be a problem if she marries Tuya and leaves for good. The alternative, she's warned, is to stay trapped in her current unhappy life. Pressed about whether she wants to remain unhappy and miserable, Yutako resolves that she does not. Clover encourages her to work hard this one time and take happiness into her own hands, solidifying Yutako's decision. The next morning, Yuichi heads out early. He runs into Yutako, who seems surprised to see him up. He stammers that he's going to school early to study, as he's determined to get into university. Yutako watches them leave with a troubled expression. Yatsuha appears, cheerfully greeting Yuichi and telling him it's time to go. Once they are gone, she creeps toward a drawer, resolved to act for her own happiness. Stealing her nerves, Yutako takes the bankbook and stamp from the drawer. She tells herself she's doing it to be happy, just as Clover-san advised. With the items secured, she runs out of the house to meet Tuya. Yutako presents the stolen items to Tuya, declaring her intent to take her happiness into her own hands, effectively choosing her own future over her family's. A message from Yatsuha arrives, asking what he wants for lunch tomorrow. Yuichi sighs, looking at his phone. He is distracted by the sound of shouting coming from downstairs. Yuichi walks down the stairs to find his family in an uproar. His mother cries out that the bankbook and stamp are gone. She immediately turns on his sister, Yutako, accusingly asking if she was the one who took them. Yutako denies the accusation, but her family seems unconvinced. Her mother points out that she was wearing an expensive-looking necklace the day before, which seemed suspicious. Cornered, Yutako furiously demands they return it. She then breaks down, admitting that it's all gone and she can't get it back. Yutako confesses that she gave everything to someone named Tuya. When her mother demands his contact information, Yutako reveals that he has deleted his account. In a panic, the mother insists they must go to the police, but Yutako says it's impossible. Yutako explains that according to an acquaintance, people like Tuya simply flee overseas, making recovery impossible. The family is stunned into silence. Their mother collapses in despair, crying that millions of yen, their family's precious money for the future, is gone. The mother reveals that the stolen money also included Yuichi's university tuition. Yuichi is shocked by the news. His mother laments that at this rate, he won't be able to go to university. Yuichi is taken aback, questioning if they were really saving money for him, as he never intended to rely on it. He tries to reassure them, explaining that if his grades are good enough, he can get exempted from tuition fees or get a scholarship for a public university. His father listens quietly but seems unconvinced. Yuichi's father suddenly erupts in anger, telling his son that this is no time for such talk. He reminds Yuichi that their family's precious money is gone. He berates Yuichi, questioning how he can be so selfish as to chase his own dreams at a time like this. Believing he must speak firmly as a good father, he clenches his fist. He tells Yuichi that if he has time for university, he should work to earn back the lost money instead. The father declares that they must join forces to make up for the family's mistake. He passionately asks if that isn't what family is for. Yuichi is left stunned and speechless. Yuichi can only stare in disbelief as his family gangs up on him. Yutako quickly agrees with their father. She tells Yuichi that since she lacks the talent to work hard, he must do his best in her place because he has the talent to cover for her. She justifies it by reminding him they are family, but Yuichi can only stammer in protest. Yuichi's mother speaks up, telling him that making him give up his dreams is strange. She thinks about how Yuichi has always done his best to achieve his goals. She resolves that as his mother, she must be on his side. She remembers her precious Yuichi proudly showing her a perfect test score. Despite her earlier resolve, his mother's expression becomes strained as she tells him not to go to university and to stay home. She turns to Yuichi and confesses that she's already at her limit. She pleads with Yuichi, claiming she will die if he leaves her. Recalling a memory of him as a child, she asks if he could really let his mother, who has always cherished him, die. With a desperate grin, she begs him to stay. His father and sister chime in, urging him to unite his heart with theirs during this hard time and do his best for their precious family. Yuichi can only stare in horror, completely trapped. Just then, Yatsuha appears at the door looking shocked. She wonders why this is happening. She explains that she came to check on Yuichi because he hadn't replied to her text. Seeing the disastrous scene, Yatsuha realizes she needs to rewind time. She looks down at her watch and tries to activate it. The watch just grinds without effect. She is left stunned by the failure. As she stands frozen, watching the family drama unfold, Yatsuha is unable to intervene. She desperately tries to use her watch again, but realizes with horror that it won't rewind. Yatsuha reflects on her watch that rewinds time. As she kept using it, she came to a startling realization. With each rotation, the world and herself would rewind, but she was accumulating a history of happiness and sorrow all alone. Everything rewinds, but the watch itself does not. The more she uses it to turn back time, the more time the watch itself has spent existing in the world. It ages with every use. She recalls that it was originally just a cheap watch she bought at a kiosk. It was only expected to last 3 or 4 years at most, a time frame she has long since passed. Now it's a battered old timepiece ticking unsteadily. Up until now, the watch was on the verge of breaking completely. The watch had already stopped a few times, failing to rewind when she turned the crown. After a while it would start ticking again, but its performance was inconsistent. This forced her to avoid any real trouble. Because it was so unreliable, she knew she had no time to waste in her mission to make Yuichi the happiest. Seeing the turmoil in Yuichi's home, she wonders what is going on, fearing the watch will break before she can fix this. Panicked, she feels helpless, fearing she might not be able to rewind time anymore. She is completely unsure of what to do. Yatsuha remembers that this same fight happened in the original future, where Yuichi died. Because of this argument, he gave up on his dream of becoming a vet. This was the moment Yuichi lost his last will to live. This fight became a major reason for the tragic choice he made. Yatsuha is confused, however, because this event is happening months ahead of schedule. Her confusion mounts as she finds herself standing at the doorway, with Yuichi staring at her in shock. Yuichi asks why Yatsuha is there, while his father identifies her as Yuichi's friend. The man sternly tells her to go home, declaring that they are in the middle of an important family conversation. Yatsuha is stunned into silence. Yuichi realizes she must have come because she was worried about him. He feels sorry for causing such a pained expression on her face, a look he has never seen before. He thinks of her as the one who is always smiling and feels guilty for hurting her. He feels his foggy mind begin to clear. He knows there's no way Yatsuha hasn't noticed how depressed he's become. Her constant, unnatural smiling was her way of trying to cheer him up, without asking what was wrong. He wonders if she sensed everything and was doing it just for him. He realizes with a start that her presence had saved him. He recalls that day was the first time he had smiled in a while. From then on, their days together were always fun. He remembers these moments as warm and happy. He remembers wishing those days could continue forever. He had dreamed of an even happier future with her. The present, however, is harsh, with his father demanding Yatsuha leave immediately. Yatsuha, unable to rewind time, knows she can't say anything careless and must think of something to do. Feeling she has no other choice, Yatsuha turns to leave. Yuichi watches her go, a sense of dread washing over him. He feels as though his future with Yatsuha is being lost, the connection between them severed by invisible chains. Yuichi feels the heavy weight of his family's expectations, believing he must save them and stay with them. He believes he must do it for his beloved family's sake. He resigns himself to the idea that it's fine if he ends up unhappy. But he cannot accept this fate, realizing he does not want this, because Yatsuha's presence made him remember his hope for the future. He realizes he doesn't want to give up at all. With newfound determination, Yuichi decides he wants to be happy, breaking free from his metaphorical chains and calling out for Yatsuha to wait. As Yatsuha looks back, she hears him declare that he wants to live. Yuichi cries out that he wants a happy future with her. Yuichi declares to Yatsuha that he wants to live and have a happy future with her. Yatsuha is taken aback by his sudden, heartfelt confession. His family watches from the doorway, stunned into silence. With newfound determination, Yuichi feels fired up and ready to confront them. Yuichi boldly declares his intention to go to university and move out. His father is incredulous, shouting at him for what he is saying. Yuichi stands his ground, despite the difficult financial situation his father brings up. His father insists he should wait a few years before making such a drastic move. With conviction, Yuichi states his dream to become a vet and help others. His father immediately shuts him down with a resounding no. He accuses Yuichi of being the only one acting selfishly. The father then proposes that the family should unite and work together instead. Yuichi is stunned into silence by his father's words. Yuichi confronts his father, accusing him of posturing instead of being a good parent. Yuichi insists his father should lead by example, while his sister voices her own despair about having to sacrifice her dreams. The sudden outburst leaves his sister questioning what is happening. Yuichi understands his mother's underlying motive. His mother kneels on the floor, asking if he truly wants her to disappear. He sees this as another instance of her threatening to die to prevent him from leaving. Tears welling in his eyes, Yuichi pleads with his mother to stop her unfair manipulation. His mother looks up at him, shocked by his emotional plea. He tells his family that he loves them and would never abandon them. He recalls a cherished memory, reaffirming that their happiness is what he truly wants. Yuichi tearfully explains that there are things he simply cannot compromise on. Yatsuha listens intently as he speaks of something he refuses to abandon. He firmly grabs Yatsuha's hand, signifying his commitment. Holding her hands, Yuichi tells Yatsuha that he wants to live and have a happy future with her. He cries out, vowing that he absolutely will not give up on this dream. Yatsuha is visibly moved, her eyes wide with emotion. Yatsuha tearfully whispers Yuichi's name. She cries out that she wants the same happy future. Overcome with emotion, she pulls him into a heartfelt hug. She reflects on how she had never before witnessed Yuichi, whose heart she'd been mending, go through such a fight. Yatsuha is deeply moved, admitting to herself that she didn't know he would say something like this. The emotional toll of the argument leaves Yuichi unsteady on his feet. Meanwhile, his mother seems to concede, saying she's too tired to continue the argument. The mother laments her lack of talent, while Yutako tries to reason with her. The mother simply says her daughter's name, Yutako, seemingly defeated. The mother tells Yutako that she is the one who will go to work and get it back. Yutako retorts that her mother is the one who caused this mess and shouldn't involve Yuichi. After a moment of thought, the mother resolves to support Yuichi's dream. Yuichi and Yatsuha look on, surprised by this sudden change. Yatsuha apologizes to the family. The mother confesses to Yuichi that she knew she was doing something wrong. Yatsuha explains that she has been realizing this more and more. Yatsuha states that their bluntness helped her make up her mind, while Yutako makes a sarcastic remark about her own situation. Yatsuha enthusiastically tells her older sister, Yutako, that she has always been talented at games. She suggests that Yutako could pursue a job related to gaming. As the family discusses it, Yutako looks stunned. Yutako considers the possibility that gaming might be the one thing she can work hard at, and Yatsuha urges her to do it. The father expresses his approval, encouraging Yuichi to do his best. Yatsuha feels a profound sense of relief, realizing she has been saved. She reflects that among all the conclusions she has witnessed in her loops, this is the best possible one. Yatsuha thinks to herself how amazing Yuichi is, and how much better he has become. She expresses her relief and thanks Yuichi, who returns the sentiment. Yuichi sincerely thanks Yatsuha for giving him courage. Yatsuha smiles back at him, her eyes filled with emotion. Yatsuha smiles brightly in agreement. They hug again, with Yatsuha thinking about how much she wants a happy future with Yuichi. She wonders if the change in the timeline is connected to the mysterious person she encountered. While embracing Yuichi, Yatsuha's thoughts turn dark as she resolves that this person is a nuisance she will not allow to exist. She makes a solemn vow to find and eliminate this person to secure her happiness with Yuichi. Yuichi's sister, Yutako, relaxes at her desk while on the phone, discussing her new part-time job at a video game company. She explains that while she once thought working was impossible, she now finds it manageable and even receives praise. Unseen by her, the person she's talking to has a four-leaf clover as their profile icon. The caller apologizes to Yutako for a misunderstanding about someone named Tuya, which seems to reassure her. Yutako admits she briefly suspected him of being an accomplice. The caller then changes the subject, asking about the day of the major incident and if Yuichi's friend Yatsuha had come over to their house. The caller presses further, asking if Yatsuha acted strangely. After a moment of surprise, Yutako recalls a specific detail. She mentions that Yatsuha seemed to be in a hurry and was fiddling with the knob of her wristwatch, an action she found odd at the time. The mysterious caller considers the information about the wristwatch. They abruptly end the call. They are frustrated and surprised that Yuichi has recovered so quickly after they thought they had successfully broken his spirit for good. Yatsuha examines her own special wristwatch, which is decorated with a four-leaf clover. She observes that it hasn't moved in days. She remains hopeful that it might suddenly start working again and decides to keep it safe. Still determined to identify the mastermind, Yatsuha arrives at a restaurant. She is met by her friend Fuchan, who greets her with an enthusiastic shout. The two friends share a happy hug, delighted to see each other. Sitting at a table, Yatsuha apologizes for making another request, knowing Fuchan hasn't finished a previous hacking job. However, Fuchan is ecstatic to be relied upon. Yatsuha feels a sense of relief. Yatsuha then reveals her suspicion that the mastermind has been involved with Yuichi's family for some time. Yatsuha theorizes that Yutako's online friend is the most likely suspect. Recalling a text exchange from a few days ago, she remembers asking Fuchan to get into Yutako's private social media account. Fuchan had confidently replied that she could do it. Back in the present, Fuchan proudly presents her phone, having succeeded in her task. Yatsuha thanks her. She quickly begins to scroll through the private account. Her eyes widen as she finds exactly what she was looking for, confirming her suspicions. Yatsuha discovers that Yutako's connection with the mysterious account began 6 years ago. She and Fuchan realize this means it started when they were in 5th grade. She sees how the mastermind used sweet words to manipulate Yutako, encouraging her laziness. This person has been secretly destroying Yuichi's family for years. Yatsuha is horrified, wondering if such a meticulous long-term plan was truly possible or just a coincidence. She concludes that, like the school bullying and the decline of Yuichi's home life, it was all part of the mastermind's deliberate scheme. She realizes that Yuichi's misfortune was not the result of fate or some act of God. It was entirely caused by the actions of this one hidden individual. Her investigation uncovers a chilling message that reveals the mastermind's true intent. They want Yuichi to kill himself. Yatsuha is utterly shocked, unable to comprehend why someone would scheme so meticulously just to make Yuichi miserable. Yatsuha connects this to the bullying in middle school, wondering if that was also the mastermind's doing. She recalls Yuichi's friends mentioning something she heard during the rewound days. They explained they were just messing with another student when Yuichi intervened, an act that ironically led to their friendship. She now finds the student they were bullying to be suspicious, though she doesn't know who he is. Yatsuha decides to investigate him next, pondering if he is the mastermind or an accomplice. Her attention then turns to a message where Yutako asked the mastermind about the origin of their name, Clover. The mastermind's reply is chilling. In the language of flowers, a four-leaf clover symbolizes revenge. They explain their motive is to get revenge on a bastard by any means necessary. Yatsuha stares at her phone, stunned into silence by the revelation. Yatsuha mutters the word revenge, prompting a concerned Fuchan to ask what's wrong. On the screen, the mastermind's declaration of vengeance is displayed. It's a promise to get revenge for someone whose name is violently scribbled out, someone they claim was killed. The mastermind's vow is absolute. They will dedicate their life, no matter how many years it takes or by what means. They will carry out this revenge, and the final, horrifying image reveals the ultimate goal of their fate, to see their target hang. The mastermind's message revealed they wanted revenge on a bastard by any means necessary. Yatsuha and her friend discuss the shocking revelation that the mastermind's ultimate goal of revenge is for Yuichi to kill himself. Yatsuha exclaims that there's no way she'll let that happen. Fuchan agrees, stating that holding such a grudge against Yuichi is completely unjustified. Fuchan offers to continue handling the hacking. She suggests that Yatsuha should try asking Yuichi directly if he has any ideas about who might be behind it all. Taking the suggestion to heart, Yatsuha leaves with renewed purpose. Yatsuha arrives at Yuichi's house, surprising him. Overjoyed, Yatsuha gives him a big hug and asks if she can come with him. He's equally surprised to see her, explaining he was just about to head out to see her, while she admits she came to ask him something. Flustered but happy, Yuichi tells her to ask him anything she wants. Instead of answering her question, Yuichi nervously asks one of his own if he can stay over at her place for the night. Yatsuha is left completely speechless by the sudden request. The scene flashes back to an earlier conversation between Yuichi and his mother. She fears that if he stays nearby, she'll end up depending on him again. Yuichi's mother explains that she thinks it would be best if they kept a little distance from each other. To prevent this, she asks if he could stay over at a friend's place from time to time. Yuichi is stunned by his mother's request. Yuichi stands awkwardly at Yatsuha's doorway, while she enthusiastically welcomes him in. He asks if it's really okay to stay over on such short notice, but she insists he can stay whenever he wants. Yuichi recalls his mother agreeing to the arrangement, trusting Yatsuha as a responsible person. When Yuichi clarifies he only meant to stay over from time to time, she excitedly insists he can stay every day. Yatsuha remembers letting Yuichi stay over in the past to help him become more independent. She's secretly overjoyed, thinking that at this rate, they are practically living together. Yatsuha's dog greets Yuichi as she suggests they make dinner together. They share a meal at her table. They then relax on the couch, enjoying a quiet, domestic evening. Yatsuha reminds herself not to get too carried away with the happy atmosphere. She realizes this is the perfect opportunity to get some answers. She brings up something she heard about him saving a bullied kid in middle school. Then she gets to the point, asking who the boy was, hoping for a clue about the suspicious person from his past. The question immediately casts a shadow over Yuichi's face. He stammers, clearly distressed by the memory. Seeing his reaction, Yatsuha panics, quickly backtracking and telling him it's okay if he doesn't want to talk about it. She internally scolds herself for having asked. To steer the conversation away from the painful topic, Yuichi asks Yatsuha about her own middle school experience. She smiles brightly, telling him it was fun. She elaborates that she made lots of friends and every day was amazing, and Yuichi is glad to hear it. Her happy memories seem to make him thoughtful. Yuichi reflects that even though she returned after 10 years, he's been so wrapped up in his own issues. He realizes he never even asked how she was doing. Now that he's staying at her place, he understands how little he knows about her life, admitting he didn't think she had a family. He asks if she's living alone in an apartment, having always pictured her at the orphanage. Yuichi recalls that Yatsuha used to send him letters after she transferred schools. He confesses with shame that during middle school, he was being bullied and couldn't bring himself to read them. Apologizing for having forgotten so much, he admits he wants to ask her a bunch of things. He sincerely asks her to tell him about her life after she moved away. Yatsuha happily explains that she lives with her older brother. She clarifies that she began living with her real mother and brother, though her brother is rarely home from work. She then admits that while her days were happy after getting her family back, she was lonely without Yuichi. Yuichi is visibly relieved. He breathes a sigh of relief, genuinely glad to hear she's been well. As bedtime approaches, Yuichi asks if they're really sleeping together, but Yatsuha insists they are. In bed, Yuichi holds Yatsuha. He admits he's very happy before dozing off. She resolves to find out about the middle school bullying from someone else. Watching him sleep, Yatsuha gently touches his cheek, deciding that he shouldn't have to remember painful things. She thinks to herself that they are the same after all. Lying next to Yuichi, Yatsuha feels warm and happy, but it's not enough to keep her own demons at bay. No matter how much she struggles, she inevitably ends up remembering. A final image reveals the source of her pain, a memory of her own nightmarish past, and a glimpse of the original tragic future she is trying to prevent.